Since Spacies.
Guess what? Don't you know? It's the Since Spacies Show. Guess what? Don't you know? It's the Since Spacies Show. Guess what? Don't you know? It's the Since Spacies Show. Guess what? Don't you know? It's the Since Spacies Show. Guess what? Don't you know? It's the Since Spacies Show. Guess what? Don't you know? It's the Since Spacies Show! It's the Since Spacies Show, everybody!
Okay, I'm recording it this time. G'day, invaders. Welcome to Since Spacies, episode number 31, take 3. We got different questions though this time as we wait for this music to roll out. LSD, thank you for joining in the chat. Davey, Emerald Rangers, and the rest of you. Wait for it. There we go. G'day, invaders. Welcome to Since Spacies, and yes, episode number 31 of the Since Spacies Show, and we are joined by Tats, Ducko, and Tez. That's not their full name, but that's what they're going to be known as for the rest of this show. You'll see their links in the description below if you're watching this later on YouTube. But go follow them. We'll do the shout out thing later in the show. But wow, I haven't done this for a while. It's been a little while. I've had some audio issues, and that's what sort of stopped me from going back and getting on board on the horse again to get this up and running. Long story short, we had audio issues with this program that I'm using. I rolled out a new look, a new theme, and the audio issues just sort of fixed themselves. I don't know. I got no idea. Davey says, I love that Ducks got Aussified. Yeah. Ducko. It's kind of the whole point of it. So what we might do is we've already asked you guys these questions, you know, what was your first game and all the rest of it. So we might just cut it down to thank you for that, Emerald Rangers. Behave yourself in the chat. I want to just find out what you guys have been playing lately. We'll start with you, Tez.
I've been getting back into City Skylines again, which is dangerous.
Time sink.
That's one of those games that I can start playing and look up and it's 4 a.m. and it's a work night. So.
We've also just had Game Boy Bryant point out that you guys are all looking like you're in cold rooms or something with the blue light. Was there a theme or something?
I can change it, but
yeah,
like,
I was just about to do that myself here.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, mine's all different kind of colors.
Yeah,
that's just weird how you all chose blue.
He's got like a nightclub thing going on there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I look bluish right here just because of maybe in the corner.
In Australia in the 80s, we used to have a thing called blue light disco, which was like a disco for under 18s, and so that's what I get flashback as when I see that. It was like a safe, alcohol-free disco for kids. Club Spacies, yeah, something like that. All right, Ducko, what are you playing lately?
I've been playing Stray, which came out recently, the PlayStation and PC exclusive, about being a cat. If you're a cat person or into puzzle platformers, strongly recommend that one. Super good game. Outside of that, I've been digging into the back catalog of old school first-person shooters, like from the 90s, PC gaming type stuff from the Build engine. So I've been playing some Duke Nukem 3D, some Blood, which is an overlooked title that I think people should check out if you're into FPSs at all. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to.
Okay. There's apparently going to be a sequel to Stray called Mutt. No, it's just this is shit.
I
joke.
hope so. Honestly, a dog version of that game.
A dog version of that game would be freaking awesome. Maybe and if they can make it maybe a DLC for Stray, the dog.
The
Emerald
part
knows.
where
Yeah.
the part early on in Stray where you get the harness put on and the cat just flops over is like the most realistic cat behavior.
There's a ton of those little touches in the game. Like there's a keyboard prompt at a terminal, and like you're a cat, so of course what does cat do? Just walks across the keyboard and types in gibberish.
And you say, yeah.
Yeah, you can slowly push things off of ledges. It's really like there's a whole story and a really awesome atmosphere to it, but there's all these tiny little like cat isms along with it that just give the game so much charm.
Love it, love it.
There's a meow button, and
Yeah, there's
the
a meow
meows
button.
and the meows come out of the DualSense controller when you're playing on the PS5. So I was actually holding the controller up, pointing it at one of my cats, and repeatedly hitting the meow button, just to kind of get her attention.
Mhm.
Tats, what have you been playing?
Oh man, see, me and my oldest daughter have been going through all the Streets of Rage games and beating them.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, so because she was like, she was wanting to play something, and it was like, okay, well, let's go through and we'll start off on this. It's a beat 'em up and blah blah, and explaining it to her, and so we've been going through those and beating those. Excuse me. Shredder's Revenge. I kind of got a late start on it. Like I got it when it came out, but just a late start. I was so busy doing other things. So I've been playing that, and I'm actually holding back a little bit because I want to play with all my kids, all of us together. So I've been kind of holding back, just getting my feet wet, I guess, on playing that. And then something I always go back to over the last like 8 years, Daisy. I was actually playing that here recently. It's okay. So I see Brian's like, what's that game?
I'm just trying to think.
Okay, so so it's originally from its PC gaming, and Arma. It's from the Arma series. Arma 2 actually, it was a mod from Arma 2 originally, and then it became its own game. And it was in a like beta state for a while, and then it's been around for like 8 years, and then it finally dropped on console. I want to say maybe 2 years ago, on the Xbox, and then PlayStation got it like a year after that, because you know how they don't do the early preview. So anyways, long story short, I've been playing that off and on for like 8 years. I love it, and it's something I can put down for a few months, and I go back to it, and I still always love that game. Look it up. It's not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody. But yeah, it's just a game that I always go back to. So that's pretty much what I've been doing.
So with me, I've been playing Capcom Arcade Stadium, and I wanted to play the second one, but it didn't get released in time for my stream the other night. So I then went back to the Capcom, well, the one that they released on Xbox 360 around about in 2012. So I was playing through that. It's just weird playing those old arcade games now on a modern system. It just reminds you of how the game manufacturers were just brutal, and they were bastards to gamers back then with just getting them to pump in as many coins as possible. You'd probably only get about 2-3 minutes of gaming out of a credit back in that era. And kids these days are like, I hate saying that expression, but it's true. The gamers these days think that gaming's hard now, and it is, but it's not as brutal. Like, you're not constantly reaching for your pocket and feeding in DLC money, which is the original DLC.
The original microtransaction.
That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah. But I love Arcade Stadium. It's slowly given me an insight as to what my end goal would be for my channel, and that is to one day have a dedicated arcade machine with a webcam at the front, and I can do like a arcade once a week stream, arcade night. I would love to be able to just pick.
That would be super cool.
Yeah, just to pick out. You could do it, man. You got enough arcade machines there.
That would be cool.
But the problem with those machines is you can't get an outsource signal from it to put into a Elgato. So that's the technicality. Sorry, Tez, you were going to say?
So, yeah, I've actually streamed from the local arcade a couple of times. My streaming setup is laptop-based, so I just have it on the laptop cart. And what I do is I just have a camera trained on the screen.
Yeah, it's not the same though, is it? It's not a clean
it's not
signal.
quite the same, but it does add a little bit of charm because you've got the CRT flicker and all of that. But
And the cigarette stains and.
then I also have one microphone going to where the speakers are on the cabinet, and then a headset to capture my speech, so I can still get good sound and decent video on the arcade cabinet.
Yeah, as long as you got the good sound. I mean, the audio. If the video is decent quality, at least where it's visually, people can see it. The sound is the big thing, so that way they can still hear you. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. You said that's on your channel?
Yeah, the biggest problem I'd usually have was when the jukebox would go off in the background, and then I'd try to put the VOD on YouTube, and it would get blocked.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Have a machine of your own so you can cut that out. I get that having a stream from an arcade gives it that sense of an IRL stream / gaming.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But when you do IRL stream, you're always at the risk of and at the mercy of cars going past, blaring the music or whatever, and just being subject to copyright strikes. But having a dedicated machine, man, I can't, because you think about it, there's 30,000 MAME games from 70s, 80s, 90s, mostly 90s, and I'm sure you could just milk the crap out of that for years of content. And
I stream from my cabinet all the time. I just ripped all the guts out of an arcade one-up and put a Windows PC inside. It's kind of
That's what I've been trying to do. I've been wanting to do that, but it's so expensive. It's so expensive.
It's once you replace the buttons and sticks, that's probably the most expensive part. There's a couple adapters and you're good to go. You just need to convert the monitor signal to HDMI, and then you need the little USB converters for your joysticks and buttons. But for me, that was the most expensive part, was the joysticks and buttons. It was like $40 for the set. They have little LEDs and they're all fancy.
We need to talk. Yeah. We need to talk.
It's a great project. I highly recommend it. If you have a spare PC, it's nothing special in there. I think I have a
I've got a
GPU.
I've got a laptop that's just sitting there ready to be used.
Perfect. Yeah. The monitor on these things is so low resolution that you don't need much to power it, and it's a fun little project. Then you have an HDMI out and audio out and all that stuff. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
I've got a friend who threw a Raspberry Pi in his arcade one-up.
Yeah, I wanted a PC for Steam so I could run
I want PC
7 and newer games.
Yeah, because I want Launchbox.
That works. You just need the right software to emulate the controller.
Right,
yeah, a laptop will be perfect for that.
We're going to move on. We got 5 questions. And I'm just going to quickly explain what the format of the show is. You guys send in the questions. So this is the show where you send the questions or you ask the questions. We've had a bit of a change. We used to have 10 questions per episode. We've had to cut it down to 5 because these episodes were going on for 2.5 hours. We can talk gaming for ages if we could. But I thought, 5 questions format is probably better. So if you send a question in and it doesn't get used on the show, don't feel too gutted, because I will keep that and you might end up being used in a future episode, or I might use it for a tweet instead as well. So please do get your questions in for the next episode. Send it in to brian@sincespacies.com. In fact, I'll do the prompt in the chat now for you guys. Just send in your questions, keep it a minute long, landscape, and be creative. If you don't, so this is a common one. A lot of people say, I don't want to show my face on television. Okay, so for all you dentists out there, that's an Australian joke. But I'll explain one day. But for all you dentists out there that don't want to be shown on TV, just do what Emerald Rangers did and put the camera on your cat and make the cat ask the question. Or, do you know what I mean? Just be creative.
Hand puppets.
Emerald Rangers got the dentist joke.
Yep, there's ducks there.
There you go. See, can you see his face? No, and we're not sure.
All kinds of questions for your show.
So that's what I'm getting at. Anyway,
Easy.
so we have 5 people who have sent in their questions. I'm just going to load up the questions now so I know what they're asking. Oh, my fingerprint scanner's not working. There we go. Okay, the first question is from Mr. Toon. Mr. Toon, what have you got for us?
Hey, what's up, everybody? My question is, what's the first game that you bought with your own money? Not money that your parents gave you. Money that you work
They
for.
can hear us. All right, that was super quick. Wow. Okay, when I say keep it a minute or less, can you at least make it 30 seconds to give me a chance to have a sip of coffee? So Mr. Toon was asking, what's the first game that you bought with your own money? Well, me, it's Pack Car. It only had 2 levels. It was for the SC3000 Sega computer, which no one talks about. Everyone thinks that the Master System was the first, but no, it was the SC3000 SG1000.
What game was that again?
Pack Car. So it's Pac-Man, but a car.
Jeez. I thought you said Pecker. I'm like, what kind of game were you playing when you were a kid?
Pecker. No, so it was just Pac-Man. It only had 2 levels. It was so, by today's standards, laughably ridiculous. But this was my first console that I ever owned. I didn't care. I played the crap out of that for ages. Wasn't a good game. Didn't play it for much longer. So Tez, what's the first game you actually went and bought with money that you earned?
The first... I can't really say it was the first game, but more of a compilation. The first piece of software I bought on my own. I still have the disc.
Oh, what? Can you explain for the kids at home what they are?
Yeah, this is the top 20 solid gold Cosme collection for the Commodore 64.
Oh,
5
wow.
double-sided discs. And,
what was it? Load semicolon 8. No, name of the game. N semicolon 8-1. I can't remember the code for the load code.
Load quote star quote comma 8 comma 1.
Comma 8 comma 8 comma 1. That's right.
Yeah. But it had some great stuff like High Noon, Psychiatria, which is very similar to Uridium if you've heard of that. Aztec Challenge. My personal favorite was Time Tunnel. It was actually kind of like a point-and-click adventure back in 1983.
Oh, wow.
Where you're running around as a gnome who can shoot lightning bolts from his finger, and you go to different time periods, and you're collecting pieces to a map that will lead you to the gnomish treasure. And
pretty ambitious for 1983.
It was. My dad and I puzzled over it for like a month trying to figure out how everything works, and I still remember how it all works. So now, I played it on stream a couple years ago, and I plowed through it in like 50 minutes. But
did you call it Commodore? Did you call it Commodore Helpline? Was there such a thing?
No.
Commodore Helpline.
I don't think that. Or did you just go online? No, that wasn't an option back then.
Nope, that wasn't an option back then.
All right, Ducko, what did you purchase for the first time with your own money?
This is a fun one. Hey, RGB, by the way. But also, okay, so the first game I ever bought with my own money was Primal Rage for the SNES. And there's a story with this. So, Little Ducks is, I don't know, 11, 12 at this point. You know, I'm just a kid. I go grocery shopping with my mom because, 1, she's an amazing human. It's just fun to spend the day with mom. 2, I always get a copy of Nintendo Power or EGM or whatever at the end of the day. And 3, in the lobby, there's always some arcades. In the arcade one day was Primal Rage. For those who don't know what Primal Rage is, this game came out at the height of like the Mortal Kombat fighting kind of craze. And it was dinosaurs and like giant like apes and stuff fighting each other. It was amazing. It blew my tiny little mind. I was so happy. It was like a violent fighting game with dinosaurs. I'm so psyched. I'm going to save up. I found out there was a port on home consoles. It took me like half my summer to save up the ridiculous $70 that Super Nintendo games cost at that time. I go to the store. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play Primal Rage in my home, and it's gonna be awesome, and I'm gonna fight with dinosaurs. And I get it home, and it is the worst port you have ever played of any fighting game from arcade to home conversion. The sprites are tiny. A lot of the violence was taken out. The controls have so much lag. So I was crushed. That didn't stop me from buying more video games in the future, but unfortunately that was like, I learned really fast the value of like, okay, these games are worth a lot of money for little me.
Yeah.
So do your research. At least play it at the store before you take it home, if that's an option.
I want to know if you're aware of the controversy that was behind that game. There was one particular bit of controversy that got it to the attention of press at the time. Do you remember?
I remember there were issues with the second game, not actually getting done, but the first game, I believe it had something to do with one of the characters who he would fart and whatnot. Was that part of the controversy?
There was a kill thing in there, or a move where you would urinate on the other part, the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had.
And think about it. There's not many
Acid
games
tea,
that.
Yep. That's probably
that's-
another thing that appealed to Little Ducko there.
Right. Yeah. And like at that point
Hey,
in the
Mom,
90s,
he's
like that's
peeing!
what
He's doing what?
Yeah, exactly. like teenagers in the 90s, video games were just starting to get more gory and violent and crazy like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
anything that pushed the envelope, we were just like, yeah, absolutely that, you know.
I think the first two games that got my attention when it came to violence and just how comical the violence was. First one was when I was working at the Sega hotline. We got to see The Immortal on the Mega Drive. Are you guys aware of that game? No?
I believe I've heard of it. I don't think I've
So
really played it, though.
it basically had very simplistic fighting mechanisms, and then when you basically won, you got to perform a fatality. And one of the fatalities that really struck was where you just sliced the other guy right down the middle, and it just and it was like, what the hell? And the other game was Mortal Kombat. Seeing when that was featured at at Time Zone in Sydney, which is like the big arcade we've got right on George Street. So that was like any premium new game that came out, you'd go there to find it. There was a crowd 10 deep watching this dude perform fatalities and whatnot on this one machine, and people were cheering and crowd. I will never see that again. I don't think a game that generates that much, energy and just people just getting fully into it. I miss those days.
The time was just so much different too. You know what I mean? Like that's not out of the ordinary now. So, those kind of games.
It was definitely
a
a shock factor back then. Yeah. Tats, what was the first game that little Tats went out and bought with his hard-earned money? And for bonus points, what did you do to earn that money? Keep it G-rated.
Right. Actually, my parents always just bought me games, you know what I mean? So I was a little bit older when I actually had to spend my own money, and I didn't even really have to, but I wanted to. I guess it was my birthday money, actually, so I didn't even have to go out and earn it. It was birthday money.
Okay.
And so I already got like a few things, but there was a game that I wanted. I was when I was around 13, 14 or something like that, that's when I started to kind of get into baseball more. I was always into like football, American football, football and basketball and stuff, you know what I mean? But like playing it wise, I wasn't really that big into baseball. My little brother was always playing it ever since he was little, and I finally started getting into it. And there was a game, and I still have it to this day, and I still talk about this game from time to time too, because it's like my favorite baseball game of all time. And some people don't get it. Some people just like, oh yeah, it's kind of cool. But it was Tony La Russa baseball. Now,
is that on Mega Drive?
Yeah.
Sega
So
Genesis,
it was
yes.
known as Super League Baseball in everywhere else.
Well, it was Tony La Russa Super League Baseball or something like that. But it was on PC and something else when it first came out.
Okay.
And I think that was like 1991. But then in 92, it was just Tony La Russa baseball.
So that was
and
one
was
of
for the Sega Genesis.
That was one of the first Mega Drive games I
right.
got to see, and I was like amazed at how cool the sound was for back then. Yeah.
It was the game. It was just so amazing because it had like all the stats and full rosters, and you could actually bring people up and down like on your not minor league because you didn't get to play it, but it was like you had this like little minor league roster thing or something. You could bring people up, and I don't know, it was just so cool. It had all the teams and all this. The only downfall was which looking back on it, it was still amazing, but it didn't actually keep your stats. Now, so if you left it on, it would keep the stats. All like you could play or even simulate, skip or whatever, like 80 games or whatever, 100 games, and they would all still be there. All your stats, like home runs, average.
What if I was to tell you that there was a sequel to that never got released in the West on this Sega CD? It was Japan only. I had it. I played the crap out of it. Super League CD, and it and it kept stats.
Right.
Thanks for the bits, Goffioso. Thank you for the bits. Sorry, keep going.
No. On the next one, because there was more, they had like a Tony La Russa 94 and 95 as well. Now, obviously, those were newer, so they did keep all that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But if you turn the original one, the one I'm talking about, when you turned it off,
you lost everything.
It still kept
passwords.
That was just your batting stuff. You know what I mean? Now it still kept like your league standings, you know what I mean, like your team record, and it's still when you went into the playoffs, it kept all that. It just didn't keep your actual stats, like your player stats, which was really weird. But me and my brothers, we would write them down, our stats every game.
God.
Now, if we only played one game that day, you know what I mean, then that would be a little bit more dry. So usually, like by the end of the time when we were like, okay, we're going to turn the game off or whatever, we've already each played a few games. Then we would write them down. And, hey, believe me, it was amazing. We would have, it was just awesome. But yeah, that was the first game, and I was 14, I think, was the first time I ever had to spit my own money. So yeah.
All right, well, Mr. Toon, I hope we answered your question. And just for bonus points, the way I earned my money when I was a kid was going door to door selling lollies, or candy as you guys call it. And yeah, that was weird as a little kid. So I still won't ever get this image out of my head. One day knocking, because it was door to door knocking, and this dude answered the door and he was like totally naked. I'm like, don't worry about it. I just ran. I ran.
Oh, geez.
Like, I was only, 11 or 12 at the time. And seeing that, just like, nah, I'm out. Okay, so question. No, yeah, some people have got no shame.
Mowing lawns or something. I don't know. No. Not even Daxy. We call undies Daxy? Nah, nothing. It was just Starkers. Oh no.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Toon. The next one's from Stewie. Stewie's Retro Gaming Room. Stewie, what have you got for us?
Hey guys, it's Stewie for Stewie's Retro Gaming here. Just throwing you out a wee question for your show. I was just thinking there, I'm just literally just about to start my shift at my work, and it just dawned on me, I hadn't actually asked the question. What are your kind of mobile gaming choices when you're obviously stuck in your work and you just want a wee half hour, 45 minutes to yourself at lunchtime? Do you do like mobile gaming on your phone, or do you do maybe a games console, like your Game Boy or whatever? I mean, I'm actually favouring my wee original Game Boy now during my lunch just to chill. And I was just curious to see, do you guys like use accessories, adding on to your mobile phones to obviously make them more kind of game console-y looking? I'm curious, and I think that would be a great wee question there. So hope you have an absolutely fantastic show, guys. Take care. Happy gaming. Bye for now.
Stewie, thank you very much, man, for once again with an awesome question too, by the way. Mobile gaming. I'll start. I don't play any games on mobile phones. They just, touchscreen doesn't do it for me. I can't do it. bit of a funny story with that. I was playing. My neighbor's kid. His name is Zen. He sometimes appears on the channel. He was trying to get past this part in this this iPad game. He goes, "Can you do it?" And I tried, and I'm like, "What's with these controls?" And he's looking at me and he goes, "You just use the on-screen controls." I said, "Yeah, but where's the buttons?" He goes, No, they're just on screen." I just gave it back to him. I was like, "No, I can't do it. I need buttons." I only use this though, which is a GPD XD, and this is really cool, but it's a lot of messing around and setting up, and so you've really got to spend quite a lot of time getting it to run the games that you want it to run properly, and it will only run up to PlayStation, and then it will begin to struggle. So it's a cool device, but I'm still looking for something to replace this one day. I do like that cover.
Super cool.
It came like that. It was secondhand.
Very awesome.
Ducko, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so like I'm kind of a portable gaming enthusiast. I love handhelds, and like you were saying, the phone, there's no physical buttons. I can't do it. I've tried Street Fighter 4, the mobile port for that. No. Just tried like a Mega Man game, a Sonic game. They were all just like, I was like, where's my Sega controller, you know? So yeah, if I'm gonna be playing portable games, I'm gonna grab my Steam Deck or my Analog Pocket or like my Switch, you know? That all those things can play retro games. Yeah, if I'm going to be playing retro games on the go, that's what I'm going to reach for.
Just in addition to that, though, have you seen those side controllers you can get that kind of lock into place? Yeah. They kind of interest me. So if you can get them to run any game on on phones, then... Oh, thank you for the sub. Oh, wow. Got for your gifting subs. Yeah. 2 subs. Thank you very much. That was awesome. Well done, thank you, God. And so I would like to get those, but as long as it's really quick, easy, and no fidgeting around to set it up and use, or maybe just have an old mobile phone, as we were talking about before we started streaming. What do you do with your old mobile phones? That's probably one answer, is to turn it into a dedicated arcade machine or console retro machine. Tez, you a gaming mobile person or nah?
No, I'm in the same boat. It's like I have on occasion like paired up a DualShock to my phone to play games, so you know that works. But as far as retro games go, I don't tend to do a lot. But when I do, I use Antstream. It's got like all the it's got touchscreen stuff, and there are some RPGs on there which tend to work a little bit better for the touchscreen because it's not really twitchy gameplay.
Yep.
But Antstream works pretty well, and it's a decent library of a whole bunch of retro games. If you're not familiar.
LSD has just gifted another sub. Thank you, LSD, for the gift sub. Awesome. Thank you very much. Sorry for not doing the big alerts and stuff during the Since Spacies show. I do tend to focus on the show while that's going on, but I do have to say thank you very much for that. And Super Jude, how you doing? Welcome to the chat, Super Jude. Anyway, yeah, back, focus.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So if you're not familiar with Antstream Arcade, it's kind of a streaming service, almost like Google Stadia, but for retro games.
Okay.
And they're based in the UK, so one of the main things that drew me to that was getting into Spectrum and Amiga stuff without all of the mess of trying to set that stuff up. They've also got Commodore 64. They've also got some Genesis and Super Nintendo stuff. They some Atari games, so quite a bit of stuff. But then they've also got like new retro. So they're one of the games is like Millie and Molly for the Commodore 64. It was a
hey, anyone new in chat?
2018, and it's got fantastic music. It was really fun.
So if you see my face lighting up, that's someone donating bits or some alert going off, and that was LSD with 100 bits. Thank you very much. I was just going to say that there was another front end service like you're describing there called Launchbox, which I really like, but I don't think it's in the same vein as what you're talking about there.
Well, and another thing with Antstream is everything that's on there is properly licensed.
Right, whereas Launchbox is more of a BYO sort of approach. Okay.
Yeah. So like, they've actually gone out and gotten the proper licenses for every game that's on Antstream, so it's guilt-free emulation.
Tats, with all this is a dude that's got so many consoles, so many arcade machines. Do you even have time for gaming on mobile phone?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even just that. Like you said, like I've got all the thing. I mean, for the most part, I've got a lot of the stuff. So I'm just gonna play on the original hardware. And when it comes to because I do like handhelds, so it's not that I have to be sitting in front of the TV playing. Yeah. I have a buttload of handhelds, anywhere from the Atari Lynx to the Neo Geo Pocket, or to the you name it. The Sega Nomad, the Sega Game Gear, all the Nintendo, all the Atari Lynx, if I didn't say that already. Like, I have all this handheld stuff. So if I want to, I'm just going to play it on the original hardware.
Wonderful.
Right. So eventually, I don't even really know if I want the Steam Deck. I kind of do.
Yeah, I'm the same. It's so expensive though, but man, it looks cool.
Yeah. I kind of want it. I haven't really made my mind up yet.
That's all right. Just sell a couple of your arcade machines. You'll have the money in no time.
I'd rather have those. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have what I have. And I've got a nice PC. You know what I mean? So if I really want to play that, I'll play that. And that's like, I've got all these other handhelds. So it's like, I really don't need it. One day I might get it though. But yeah, definitely not on phones. I can't stand that. Like you said, the touch, I can't do it. It's just annoying. I think
it doesn't even look like a gaming machine. Look at it.
Right. the last time I even played on it. Now my kids, and they've got all this stuff too, man. But they'll do some stuff on the mobiles. The last time I even attempted to play, and it was more like I was helping a buddy out because they had to run and go do something real quick, and they were in the middle of it was PUBG. Whoever here knows what PUBG is. They were playing it on there. We were like at work doing stuff, and he was like playing it, and he was like, "Oh, I gotta run do something real quick, take over." And I'm like, and I was like trying, and I was like, "This is horrible, man." I was like, "No, I'm not." Yeah, so no.
Yeah, I've only ever played touchscreen games a couple of times. I'm not talking Angry Birds. I'm talking where you have got a virtual D-pad and virtual buttons.
Yes.
It's just wrong.
It's horrible.
Well, it's not for me anyway. I'll put it. I'll leave it at that. I hope that answered
there are
your.
Some games that were made for touchscreens that work perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But when you try to force a D-pad and buttons in there, like with Sonic or whatever, it just doesn't work quite as well because you need to pay attention to. You need to be able to touch where your fingers are going to do it quickly.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't work with touch controls.
Having said that, though, watching this kid play it was just like, he's adapted this so well, and I don't get it. I need to feel that button. All right, I think we've answered that. And Stewie, I don't think you touched on whether you do or not. I don't think I heard in the question if you yourself are a mobile gamer in that sense. Although Steam Deck is something that I would like to get one day. That's a thing for traveling, yeah? So who's doing traveling at the moment? I bought myself a backpack for the Switch, and I don't go anywhere, so I haven't used it. Sorry, Tez.
I have been traveling.
I actually
Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Stuff. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I put Final Fantasy 11 on my Steam Deck and used my phone's tether option to play Final Fantasy 11 in my car at a park.
Okay. Speaking of traveling, this is a good segue to the next question. We've got David Stokes here with the question. Dave, mate, what have you got? Or Davo. Here we go.
Hey, Spaces crew. Hope your show's going well today. Got a question for you. So, getting ready to go on a trip to Jacksonville in Florida, and I've never been there before. So, like, one of the first things I did was I went to Google and mapped out, like, what the local retro shops were in the area. And I'm going to be hitting some new places. So just kind of curious, is this something that you guys do when you're looking at retro games? And what's sort of the coolest thing that you've found when you've been somewhere new? All right. Hope you have a good show.
So I'll no, actually, you know what? No, Tats, you go first. You seem to like this one. So.
Well, okay, so anytime we go on vacations or anything like that, or I'm heading out of state for something, or even across, I don't know, a couple hours away or anything like that, I do figure out like the area of where we're going and if there's any retro game stores around the area or anything like that, or if there's any kind of like big flea markets going on at the time or anything like that, because I love doing that stuff. I started up a thing on my channel where I was going around to certain places. I haven't done one in a while, where I would go around to certain retro stores and record like what I'm seeing, and if I end up picking up anything or anything like that. But yeah, there's been plenty of times, not every single time that we go somewhere or whatever. Sometimes I just like going, when we get there, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna look up retro game stores near me, or if there's something going on, and then I'll do that. But there's been plenty of times, yeah, for sure, if we're going somewhere that I've never been or whatever, and I'll be like, okay, so while we're here, this couple of days or whatever, I'm going to be going out to this place or this place or this place and checking it out. And so, yeah, I do that a lot, actually.
Okay. So, Tez, what do you plot and plan your traveling around gaming?
I have in the past, yeah. Like, couple of times I've gone out to my sister's place. I live near Milwaukee, which is in southeastern Wisconsin, and my sister lives in the Twin Cities in Minnesota, which is about a five and a half hour drive away. And there have been some times when I've plotted my trip there to go past game stores on the way. And one of the times I went out there, I even what was weird about the Twin Cities is that the game stores are like around the outside ring of 494 and 694, which are
okay. You're talking
like
Dutch
bypass
here.
highways.
What's Twin Cities for people out non-Yanks?
Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Okay.
They're like really close to each other. So like.
Okay, we have something similar here in Australia, Coolangatta and
yeah.
And oh god, Coolangatta and what's the other one? I'll think of it. Someone in the chat help me out with that. Twin Cities, Coolangatta, and the other one. Trying to figure the other, because they're both across the border. We've got one in Queensland and one in New South Wales, and they form one city.
Okay.
But they got two names. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
But, yeah. So all of the game stores in the area that I wanted to go to are like around the perimeter of the Twin Cities. So one of the times I was out there, I actually plotted like a circular course and took my oldest two nephews with me and took them around to various gaming stores, and they were starting to get into it.
I'm trying to.
They were sufficiently inspired by a Tower of Power in the case at one of them.
So I'm trying to figure out. Coolangatta is one. I can't figure the other one. Someone in chat? Anyone? Tweed Heads. Thank you. Yes, Tweed Heads is the other Twin City there. How can I forget that? I've been there. How do I not know that? The weird thing about that particular Twin City is that when we have daylight saving here in New South Wales, across the border they don't have daylight saving. So
okay.
And whether they enforce daylight saving or not in one part of the town or not is totally up to the shop owner. So it's kind of weird.
That is weird.
So Ducko?
Oh yeah. Every time I'm going somewhere new, going to a new city, going to see family, whatever it is, I always search the city, are there any retro stores nearby? I did this once at work. I was traveling like halfway across the country. I got to the hotel. I was like, all right, what's nearby? Sure enough, retro store nearby. I got some cool GameCube stuff after all the work meetings were done. And it was, just a few games, so it was easy to put in the bag and fly back with. But yeah, always do that. And then when I do land, I check Facebook Marketplace. You never know what people are getting rid of.
Actually, I never thought of that. I never thought that.
Like within 20 miles, and then, there you go. You're an Uber drive away from gaming deals.
Hey, virtual high five on that one, bro. It's exactly the same thing, man.
So with me, it's Japan mostly that I do my traveling to. So I'm always forever stalking out where the new
living the dream.
Where the nearest, I should say, Book Off or Mandarake stores are. Or Hard Off. I love that name. Hard Off. So Hard Off is more like not book associated, but more equipment, heavy, bigger items. Like you can buy washing machines and stuff there. But there's always a dedicated little retro game section. And I got my Pokemon Nintendo 64 there for only like 60 or 70 Australian dollars. It was so damn cheap. That's why I put in Twitter one day, if you saw this for only $70, would you buy it? And everyone's like, yes.
Yeah, I'd like to go to the UK at some point and browse some of the boot sales there.
Yeah, keep hearing about the boot sales, but I got a sneaking suspicion that those boot sales formerly used to be a good place for a bargain or two, now becoming a little bit more.
I've heard several people say that.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to go to Japan though, dude. Like so many shops that I've seen, and so many. There's like everywhere, like wall to wall, and everywhere is just like, oh my god, I would love to just be even if it was just for like a day, just being able to spend a few hours there. Like, oh my god, I'd love it.
So Japan. A lot of people talk about Super Potato, and Super Potato is a must visit when you go there. And it's not just one. A lot of people seem to think that there's only the one Super Potato store in Akihabara. But as I found out, they got one in Osaka and a few other locations. So always look that up if you do go to Japan. And maybe if you avoid the Akihabara store and try the lesser known ones, you might get a bargain that you wouldn't get otherwise. So that's a tip. But Mandarake is a cool store. I got myself a GameCube as new, complete in box. It had not been used, and it was for only $70 or $80 with a Game Boy Advance player and a controller that's supposed to be pretty rare. So that was, and I couldn't run out of there quick enough when I bought it, just in case they changed their mind.
Yeah, it was like, wait a minute, is this a mistake?
Yeah. The weird thing about that was that there was a Kiwi dude that was serving me, and he wasn't really into the game, so he didn't really know much about the games and whatnot. So he kept going back and forth between the shop owner and back. Yeah. Thank you for the follow, Poseidon H2O. I know who that is. How you doing? Thank you for joining in. All right. So and me, just going to Japan. I'm always plotting and planning my retro gaming around the travel if I can. In my last trip though, I think I went for over a week while there before I even got to my first Book Off store. I was having stress, I gotta see a store, damn it. Thank you for the biddies, LSD. We're going to go now to the next question, but that was an awesome question, actually.
Yeah, it was.
We've got two more to go. Game Boy Bryant, mate, what have you got for us? This is question number 4.
Hello, Spacies. First time I've said a question in a little bit, and it's the first time you've been on for a while because of those audio issues you've been dealing with. Would you behave real quick, please? Anyway, for this question, it's going to be about video game packaging. You already know, physical games, like we collect all the time. And the rare cases where they contain minor spoilers. Like Resident Evil 2, one of my favorite games. Right? The North American version doesn't really contain any spoilers. You behave. But the PAL version, on the other hand, contains a particular screenshot that spoils a moment in the game. It's basically a character that you meet early on when you get to the police department turned into a zombie. It's a shocking moment, but it would be if you were playing in the game and still looking at the screenshots on the back, but what you gonna do? It may appear minor at first, but it would be a very annoying thing. Can you name any other cases of this happening on packaging? Because it's very, very suspicious. He won't behave himself. Take care, Spacies. And, oh, by the way, I really gotta get this boy to behave himself. He's being a jerk.
Game Boy Brian, thank you for the question, but man, I told you when you send in your questions, can you be speaking clear? Oh, no worries, I'll speak clear. So what does he do? He has a helicopter or something going on in the background, or is someone, Emerald Ranger's a fat blaster? When you do ask your questions, if you can have no TV or anything going off in the background, it really does help, because it is, I do try to encourage people to ask questions, obviously, and it isn't hard to ask a question in front of a camera. I know a lot of people get freaked out with doing it, but if you can just turn off all background noise and just be yourself in a room asking the question, that, yeah, is Davey says that was great. Game Boy Brian's always got just an element of random with his questions. And that one's got me off guard, and I think we're struggling here. Do you have any examples, anyone?
I don't have any examples. I've been tricked. I think everybody's aware of the infamous Phalanx for SNES cover of the old guy with the banjo. I was pretty upset I didn't get like Hillbilly Banjo Hero in space, you know?
I loved him on the first episode of Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah. Never any spoilers, but definitely being let down. And because, you know, back in the days, man, the covers were so amazing. It'd be like, man, this game is going to be rock. This game is going to be so awesome. And it's like, this is nothing like the cover.
A good example of that is that's such an awesome. Any Atari VCS, not 2600, but the VCS cover arts. Some of the most outstanding cover arts of all time is from that era. And you look at Space Invaders, it looks nothing like Space Invaders. Like even the original artwork on the cabinet was different. And I thought, like, if they were to have done that now, they would have put the alien that you see on the side of the
so different.
Oh, he's just got it there, ready to pull out. I don't even own that, but I played it enough times.
Had some crazy art too.
That is such a damn good cover though, that one. I really do love I don't know what kind of technique they're using for the artwork, but it is on another level. Sorry, you were going to say that, Ducko?
Well, I was just saying, like, art for the 2600, like, you see a game like Space Commander or something like that, it's like, oh my god, this looks amazing. You get home and it's like 5 pixels. And
Missile Command was another one that looked awesome.
Missile Command, that's what I was thinking.
And there's a book dedicated to just the artwork of Atari games, and it's such a damn good book, because I would like to see someone come up with a game based on the cover art of that game now, because they can do it. Like, that'd be a concept.
Actually, what they were I think that's actually what they were going for with No Man's Sky.
Oh, right.
They were trying to evoke the images of like 50s, 60s, 70s sci-fi books, and try to make it so like if you took a screenshot, you could have put it on the cover of one of those books back then, and it would have been perfectly in place.
Because it kind of reminds me of the concept art for Star Wars. Have you ever seen that? The original Star Wars? The concept art is on another level. I don't think they quite got that exactly right with the Star Wars movies. It would be an idea to look back at the Star Wars concept and actually try to get more faithful to that artwork in an actual show or movie.
One thing I was thinking of with this question is, does the codec frequency for Meryl on the back of Metal Gear Solid count?
Yeah, I'd say that counts.
Yeah.
So when you Google this, it gives you 10 examples, or not 10. I can't see or 10. Hang on, I'll see if I can get to that. 10 video game covers that accidentally spoiled a story. So
we have all 10.
Number 10, The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. Okay, I wasn't aware of that. Number 9, Kingdom Hearts 3. Number 8, The Last of Us. Wow. Okay.
Huh.
Now,
I got
are
'em
these
all.
only spoilers after you've played the game, though? Because like sometimes it might be a spoiler on the cover,
But you
and
can't
you don't
figure it out.
realize
Like,
it's a
yeah, that's what
spoiler.
I think is more.
Right,
sort of
yeah.
the case.
There's not a single one. Like I'm looking at the list here, and
Tales of Symphonia is number 7. Number 6 is Nier Replicant. Number 5, Borderlands 3. I don't really. Yeah. Double Dragon on the NES is number 4. How?
Really? Really?
I
Because
don't
you
get how that's a spoiler.
because it shows that you actually fight each other at the end. I think that's what it is.
Who would think that was a
I know.
It's definitely gotta be after you play the game. It's like, oh well, but then after that, it doesn't matter because it's not a spoiler.
Yeah,
Number
exactly.
3, Nier Automata. Automata? How do you say
Automata.
that? Automata. Is it? Okay. I've never played those games, sorry. Number 2, Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. Oh, really?
Hmm.
The biggest one is Final Fantasy VII.
Well, okay, but
well, yeah, no.
yeah,
I mean,
if
it
you-
shows.
if
Okay,
you
it shows.
define what the meteor is.
No, hold on. It shows Aerith actually getting killed. Spoiler: she dies. Sorry, if you haven't played it by
on the
now, you
back
didn't
of
know
it?
that.
Oh, okay.
All right, but they show
It does,
her
yeah.
dead body in Cloud looking down at the dead body. But if you haven't played the game yet, you don't know what that means. You have no idea. She could be just sleeping, or she, it doesn't. I don't think that's a spoiler.
Body experience.
But yeah. Okay. No, that was a interesting question. Caught us off guard. Don't have any personal experiences. I think it's more of a case where we were spoilt by the game not being anything like the artwork on the game.
Yes. Now that's happened a lot.
Like
Okay.
Especially back in the days.
Power Lord for the Odyssey 2 here, and
I want to play that game on the cover, not the one that.
yeah, not the game that.
Oh God, no.
the cover looks great.
Game Boy Brian has explained what was going on in the background of that question. There was a tractor going on in the background. I try my best to record when there isn't any noise. I got unlucky that day. So it wasn't a fat blaster. Okay, we'll take your word for it. That is question number 4. This is the last question. Yeah, this is a very short version of the Since Spacies Show compared to normal. How long have we been streaming? Oh, almost an hour. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Question number 5 from Top Loader, or from now on he's going to be known as Toppy. What have you got for us, mate? Toppy.
Guys, it's me, the top loader. No, not him, that's the other me. That's the little mini me. There's 2 of us in frame. Can you handle 2 of us? Well, he doesn't speak as much, so it's just me. I'll do a speaking for both of us, right? My actual question is, I'll make this quick because I like to make things quick, as that's what I do. I don't stuff around, I get straight to the point. My point here is gaming myths. After playing Sonic Origins, I thought that, playing Sonic 1 again, which I haven't played for a little while, playing it in original mode without the spin dash, everyone used to think that he was really fast, right? Faster than Mario. Sonic was the fastest person in gaming, right? Mario is the slow one. But after Green Hill Zone, without the spin dash, I actually found the game slow as shit. I love the game so much. I love Sonic 1, but it's as slow as shit. Honestly, You think he's fast in that game? I used to think he was faster than Mario. Come on. I reckon Mario, with the cape and the running and the flying and everything like that, I just hit my own hat. He was way faster than Sonic in that first game. So that's my gaming myth. I think that Sonic in the first Sonic game was actually quite slow. Do you have any gaming myths? Because that's my one, and I still think that's just a myth, because I still think that Mario is actually faster than Sonic in Sonic 1, but hey, that's just me.
I didn't realize it was looping. Could you imagine listening to Top Loader looping for like 10? That's a 10-hour video on YouTube we don't need.
Yeah, that's
Stop! How much Coke does that guy drink, you reckon? There's got to be some explanation. No one can be that energetic without some sort of external fuel.
I thought you were going to say how much Coke was he snoring.
Or maybe that too. Yeah. Red cordial. Yeah, I think that might explain it. Do you guys have cordial in the States? Do you know what that is?
I don't even know what that is. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
How do you explain cordial? It's like an additive that you add to water, only like a small amount, to turn it into red drink or green drink.
Oh yeah, okay.
What do you call it there? Because it's called cordial here. It's similar to Kool-Aid. Okay.
Yeah.
Here it's just called Cotties. Cotties is the brand, and cordial, and they have the my dad picks the fruit that goes to Cotties.
So wait a minute, Kool-Aid isn't a worldwide thing?
Well, do you know what? I get this a lot. Being in Australia, growing up here, there's a lot of colloquialisms that I didn't realize were colloquialisms. When I did my Sonic statues video, where I found the Sega World statues, and then the guy said, I'll be willing to part with him if you can get me a petrol pump, right? But here in Australia, we call that a Bowser. It's just called a Bowser. Like Mario Bowser. And I said it on the video. He needs a Bowser. And all the comments was, "What the hell's a Bowser? What's a Bowser?" I showed what a Bowser is. I actually showed a photo of it. But yeah, we got and another one I didn't realize it was a colloquialism. When you get told you can go home early from school or you can leave early from work, and I didn't realize this is only a New South Wales thing. We call that an early mark. You've never heard that term? You can have
early mark. No,
I've heard this all my life. Okay, you can get an early mark. Cool. But when I said it to someone in Victoria or Queensland, they were like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Are you kidding? You never heard the term early mark?" And I looked it up. It's a New South Wales thing. It's only in New South Wales.
Oh yeah, that's kind of like bubblers here.
Drink?
Bubblers and water fountains. Yeah.
A bubbler is a water fountain.
Yeah, same. We call it bubblers here in New South Wales too.
Bro, I've never heard nobody ever call it bubbler, and I've lived.
Yeah, that's why I bring it up. It's a very Wisconsin thing. And
see, I've got Aussies in the chat going early mark. So it's a New South Wales thing. I didn't realize it. I've been using that term all my life. Another one that's weird. Sorry, we're getting off topic here, but do you ever remember when you were a kid and they had that Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, Robin ran away?
It was Robin laid an egg.
Yeah.
It was different, but similar in every state. And it's like, how did this song travel around the world? There's a video on YouTube about it, and we changed it to Batman Smells something and fly while flying TAA, which
Batmobile lost its wheel and Robin flew away.
Yeah, well, we had a different song altogether.
Yep.
Smoko in Australia means lunch or morning break. That you don't know what a smoko is. Everything in Australia ends with O. That's why you're ducko. So if you have a cigarette break, that's a smoko.
Oh.
But that's kind of, cigarettes are costing too much anyway now. And Arvo is afternoon. And I say this all the time. I'll see this Arvo, and Americans go. I love confusing Americans.
Joker got away, that's right.
So that minute and a half long question, by the way, keep your questions to a minute or less. Wow. Top Loader was never good at maths. Is Sonic actually faster than Mario? Is he really? So
Sonic speed is backed by blast processing.
yeah, but if you look at Sonic 1 and he's running from left to right, and then you compare it to Super Mario Bros. Who's actually faster? Can we get a poll in the chat? Someone in the chat put a poll. Is Sonic actually faster than No, who is faster, Sonic or Mario? Because I would dare argue that Mario is actually faster.
I went kind of super nerd on this and did a little research. So if you count Super Mario Galaxy, where Mario can launch off into space, then Mario, I think, is faster.
That was the only thing I could think of, too.
Yeah, there's a song for Sonic that says running around at the speed of sound. So we know Sonic can run at the speed of sound. A rocket actually
We're going to take lyrics as canon?
Yeah. So a rocket actually launches at like 4 times the speed of sound. So in that case, I would say Mario's faster. But otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah, but
you
Sonic can run so fast he can travel through time. And Mario needs a machine to travel through time.
He cheats. He just goes to eBay and buys a time machine, whereas Sonic's actually doing it, Superman style.
He's doing it the hard way.
Yeah.
We're not going to get a poll in chat? All right. I personally think that Toppy might actually... Oh, God, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I think Toppy might actually be onto something.
Yeah. No, seriously. And when I first heard it, or read it or whatever, I heard it, I was immediately just like, Sonic, like what?
Because he's faster, but then you just
assume. But then going back and like remembering all the games that I've played, which is like almost every one of the Sonic, older. Some of the new ones I haven't played, but a lot of the older games, certain times when to get Sonic going,
it really takes a while for him to work up the speed.
Kind of like, and then it's like when he finally gets that good speed going, it's when he's going around the loops and all that. And it's
that's gravity. That's cheating.
Right,
yeah, let's not bring Sonic 4 into this.
Right. But then when I think about the Mario, it's just like Mario, I can just straight go around stuff and I'm jumping and going over. It's like, hell, is Mario actually faster?
Okay, so LSD in the chat is saying Super Mario World with the cape, you actually run faster than Sonic 1. Okay. Because there's no dash, there's no drop dash. Actually, drop dash was more of a recent thing that was introduced into Sonic. And can we just take a moment to appreciate how freaking cool that feature is that they introduced that into Sonic? It's like, why didn't you
never get the hang of drop dash.
It is a little tricky, but it can bail you out of trouble, but it can also get you into trouble too. But it's such a cool feature. But yeah, drop dash is not in any of the Sonic games on Mega Drive Genesis. And he didn't even have a spin dash in Sonic 1. So he's like, he starts off so slow.
That's one of the things I've been liking about Sonic Origins is playing Sonic 1 with the spin dash.
Also, Mario can breathe underwater. There's that.
Yeah.
Do you know where that came from?
Huge advantage.
Do you know where that came from? The Japanese, when they designed Sonic and they designed those underwater levels, mistakenly thought that hedgehogs were not good swimmers, when in fact they actually are. I love stuff like that when Japanese game developers design a character or a level on a misconception, and it just sticks. I love that.
And thus we were all scarred for life by
That's the ultimate ringtone. You definitely want to get to your phone quick.
Yeah, like that's one you assign to your boss or something like that. Like something you have to like immediately answer. Yeah.
So can we get a vote here? Mario is faster than Sonic. If you think Mario is faster, raise your hand.
Here? Right
here? Right now. If you think Mario is faster, raise your hand.
After thinking about it,
raise your hand. Yeah. Okay.
Nah, man.
All right. Nah. And if you think Sonic is faster, raise your hand.
I'm gonna say Sonic is faster because Sonic. Mario might be faster in some situations, but Sonic is consistently speedy.
Yeah, I think overall Sonic is faster, but in those original games is what I'm getting at, because that was the question. Mario is definitely faster than Sonic in the original games.
Oh yeah. Well, because by the time Sonic gets going, I'm already on the next level.
He was calling it. What's that? Is it the Mandela effect? I think that's what he was referring to it as, where a lot of people have a misconception about something based on just everyone just like Luke, I am your father. That never got actually said in the movie.
Right.
And Beam Me Up, Scotty, was never actually mentioned in any Star Trek, and to this day has never been in a Star Trek movie or episode. All right. Well, guys in the chat, thank you very much for dropping in. This has been a refreshing change where it actually worked. We'll see. Still haven't got the recording yet. It should work. It should work this time though. I hope you guys like the new look. Yeah. I hope you guys like the new layout. I did put a lot of time and effort in getting this set up to look the way it does. There's still room for improvement, but I'm happy with the way it looked, and I hope you guys appreciate too now the new look, and when the questions have been played out, the new text, the graphic for the actual person asking the question, that's been revised as well. There's a lot of little things going on in the background that you don't realize. Tez, where can we find you?
On Twitch, I'm TesseractE. And pretty much all of the like gaming platforms, I'm TesseractE. On YouTube, I'm TesseractUnfolded. On Twitter, TesseractUnfold.
Okay.
And currently on YouTube and Twitch, I'm working my way through all of the PlayStation Magazine demo discs.
Oh, what? That's actually not a bad little, what would you call that? A theme? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I'm actually doing it with the intent to make a website and have like all the information from all of these discs in one place, because the PS1 games, they're all kind of listed right there on the disc, but that isn't the case for the PS2 disc. And it was really hard when I was collecting them to find comprehensive information all in one place. So if it doesn't exist, make it yourself.
And Ducko, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at Ducks in Disguise. Going to be dropping a music video over on my YouTube really soon, so stay tuned for that. On Saturdays at 6 p.m. CST, you can find me over at twitch.tv/DavyPGH. I'm the co-host of a show over there called The Finer Things, where we look at overpriced retro games and why they're not worth that much. So
I don't think you can have enough episodes for that.
We've played some real gems. But every now and again, we take a break and play something fun. We just got through the Cuphead DLC co-op. That was a lot of fun, both to play and I'm sure for people to watch. But yeah, drop by, see us. It's always a good time.
Duck, you don't want to know how much I paid for that Power Lords game.
Probably too much. We played Home Improvement for Super Nintendo. We know all about overpriced garbage.
Yeah.
Thank you for the biddies, LSD. Also, Tats, where can we find you?
Great
and I'm
show,
being serious
guys.
here. I don't know your gaming Twitch channel name. Is it Tatted Gamer Dude?
Not Twitch. YouTube.
Do you have?
No,
you're not on Twitch.
Okay, so technically I am, but dude, it has been a long time since I've done anything on there. So
give me it. I'll shout it out. Maybe we can convince you to come back.
It should be.
But just
I'm pretty sure I switched it. Tatted Up Gamer Dude is what it should be.
Tatted Up.
Yeah. So
Gamer.
TATTED Up Gamer Dude.
There we go. Last seen playing WWE 2K17. There you go. There's a surprise.
It was probably doing something. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. Anyways, yeah, you can find me, I guess, even there. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Hell, you can even Google me, to be honest. Tatted Up Gamer Dude, or Daniel, aka D, was what I used to go by a long time ago. Still do, kind of. You can find me anywhere on those.
Just wrapping up with that. Oh, sorry, go on. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, make sure you stay hydrated, everybody. Yep. So.
I gotta get more water in me. I'm dried up. I was gonna say though that the good thing about my channel name is that it's super easy to Google. Since Spacies is not really a commonly used term. However, Top Loader, he said his son Benji. By the way, happy birthday, Benji! That's his birthday today. And he was asking his dad, how come when I try to show your gaming channel to my friends, it just shows washing machines?
Yeah, I've actually seen that. Yeah.
I'm gonna play out there we go. Happy birthday! So,
my birthday's actually Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday to you too!
Happy birthday, brother.
Anyone else got birthdays going? I've got to wait till January.
I'm passed in May, so no.
Mine's in winter, so I got a ways to go.
Anyway, I've got visitors that have just knocked on the door. I do have to bail. Thank you everyone for dropping in and watching. And the next episode is not going to be that far away. Probably 2 weeks from now, I'll dig up some guests from somewhere. Like I dug you guys up for the third time. We did it. We did it. My name's been Brian. I've been gaming since Spacies. Thank you everyone. Bye now.
Since Spacies.